So, how long is this gonna take?
You can't rush art.
Is a quote said by Jerry the Cleaner in Toy Story 2. Although simple, it speaks magnitude to the process of artistry. Art takes a long time to create, and even longer to refine and perfect. While they're typically seen as paintings on a church ceiling, it encompasses so much more, and in my opinion, video games are an art form. For some, games are able to transcend time with the discovery of new game-breaking mechanics and sharing one's feats with the world. One of the best examples of this is Touhou Project. There are countless games and artwork that took a great amount of time to create, each with their own passion and vision behind it. However, like most art, there are always imperfections, which leads to the question of, what is the worst Touhou game? It's a question that has been hard to find a definitive answer to, but if one asks a hardcore Touhou gamer, it all points to a disgusting, masochistic purple blemish that sends chills down the spines of Touhou fans.
Then did you draw on it with crayon?
But before we can learn about Violet Detector though, we have to understand what this game entails. It's the third game in the Photography Danmaku series, which were departures from the mainline Touhou franchise. While the regular games focus on traveling across 6 stages and defeating bosses in a linear format, the photography games allow you to choose what spell card to fight in whatever order you like. And in this game, it's all tied together in a loose story format starring beloved fan favorite character Sumireko Usami. This was the first game I remember being announced and released as a Touhou fan. I remember downloading the game on my mom's crappy laptop the night it released, seeing the purple haze of the title screen with the rainy theme song while the night moved on outside was nostalgic. Of course, I never really played the games in 2019 since I had other interests at the time, so fast forward about 6 years later where I decided to listen to the soundtrack again. Listening to Old Adam Bar and the title theme brought me back to a simpler time, but also developed an interest in me on everything Violet Detector, and why it's so hated. I'm in the Touhou Replay server, a place full of some of the best Touhou players in the Western world.
Gorilla! 56!
Whenever someone posts anything related to Violet Detector, it doesn't take long for another person to crack a joke relating to its supposed poor quality. It's easy to take opinions from another person without experiencing the thing for yourself though, so it's only fair that I went back to see what Touhou was like when I first got really into it. Meet Sumireko Usami. She's your average high schooler who just wants to have a little fun in life. You can tell she's a little nerdy, as she spends a lot of time online with her phone, taking cringe selfies and all of that. One night, however, she began to have recurring dreams of visiting a strange new land, meeting colorful cosplayers, but they're trying to kill her with rainbow balls. Something so real yet so crazy had to be scary. So, she needed a way to cope with these nightmares. Seeing as she always had her phone with her, she uses her poor situation to try to become Instagram famous. Across 1 week with various bosses, she learns that photos delete bullets, and that the more riskier she plays, the more Instagram clout she gains. But upon dying, she loses a subscriber. Every time she posts, she makes sure to talk about her feelings in her dream. Like in one night, she talks about how wishing Mondays weren't a thing. Same. Across her journey, however, she encounters 2 major figures. Dormy Sweet, ruler of the unconscious, being the first, where she talks about her circumstances in the dream world, being fascinated by her unique situation. Dormy tells her that everyone that Sumireko fights is not the real person, rather an ignorant dream world version that just so happened to be jealous that Sumireko can escape the Matrix to the real world. Dormy wanted to play cheeky, fighting with her a bit and observing her as if she was a zoo animal. With that in mind, Sumireko knew something was up, and in order to escape this non-stop cycle, she needed power, which is where figure number 2 comes into play. Okina Matata. She too is fascinated by her struggle, and after a quick back and forth, she decides to assist by being Heiya from Steel Ball Run. Okina motivates Sumireko to keep attacking the Dreamworld delinquents to show them who's boss. Though to help mitigate this uphill battle, Sumireko over time gained some sick new powers, like telephotography, fire bullets, and teleportation. These new abilities would help in battles against stronger foes that cuddle, juggle, and make it double. So cue the Eurobeat music. After those 3 weeks of nightmares, however, there comes the final showdown. The nightmare to end all nightmares. As they say, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And Sumireko would learn that the reason she had these lucid dreams was because of herself. Because of Dorami's dream soul system, Sumireko's soul was separated from her real body. In order to end this cycle of pain, she desperately needs to take it back. The Sumireko we've been following was actually the spirit soul one. Everything after this basically becomes that one scene in Sonic Adventure 2.
You're not even good enough to be
I'll
my
make you
fa-
eat those words.
The Faker is dead, and Sumireko saved the world once again. The next day, she woke up, but this time felt different. She remembered nothing of her dreams and even wondered if they were real. All she has left are her memories on her phone that she probably shared with her friends in class or something like that. She gained a large following on Instagram, became a famous Twitch e-girl, and lived happily ever after. At least that's what I like to think. The story isn't the greatest in the world, but it does the job. You know how dreams tend to be a window into your psyche? Like, if you're being chased by some unknown being, it probably represents some unresolved childhood trauma. Sumireko has literal nightmares of fighting flashing colors, characters telling her to F off, and constant near-death experiences. I genuinely wonder if everything is going well for her at home. Ah well, no one cares about that part of her anyway. Most were just surprised to see a new Touhou game starring a relatively new character in contrast to the previous games of the era, especially considering that it was the first photo game not starring Aya. She had big shoes to fill and a community to please. I'm sure Zun made sure to take special care in making her second grade debut the best one yet. Right?
Glitches.
Violet Detector is infamous for them, and they're emblematic of what the game represents in the mind of the Touhou community, East and West. It's held together with Elmer's glue and a shoelace. Typically, there are 1 or 2 major glitches in any Touhou game. Violet Detector has at least 11, each coming in various shapes and sizes, but for pacing's sake, let's take a look at 3 of the most damning. The first are the texture glitches. Notably, for whatever reason, the sprites will bug out at the most random of times, which can cause issues for people who have epilepsy or something like that. One of my first memories of this game was playing on Eternity Larva stage, where, for no reason, there was a ripple in the matrix.
Hey, I'm flying!
Well, we're boned.
The funny part was, I was not even looking for the glitch too, it just happened to me like that, which just shows that this glitch affects anyone indiscriminately. With the second major glitch, the reset menu combination comes to mind. Smash players tend to use the sacred home plus X plus A combo to rage quit. Touhou has the same thing, but it's used to reset quickly using the escape plus R combination. In newer Touhou games, you'll be using this combo to reset a lot of runs. It is a godsend, as in older games, you had to reset by quitting to the main menu and spamming the Z key from the start to the beginning of a run. The new key combination is a small quality of life improvement that you will have a new appreciation for when you play Violet Detector, as it doesn't work. No, really, this combo doesn't work for whatever reason, as it glitches the menu and boots you back into the game, where you'll most likely die. It's faster to just die than to deal with the menu. It's probably not something that Zun expected, but with the third glitch, it truly came out of left field for him. And I do mean it when I say that it's the most game-breaking of them all. Normally, you only have 1 life, 1 hit per stage in this game, but if you get hit, all you need to do is follow the sacred process. When you're in the death menu, Go to the manual, then escape the manual selection to return to the menu. Press R, and when the screen appears to have no menu, press escape to return to the game where you left off. The best thing about it is you can perform it infinitely and beat the stage legitimately in the eyes of the game. With the major downside that beforehand, you need to get at least one photo of the boss to clear in the first place, as it takes away your camera, but that's mostly a piece of cake compared to some of the spell cards one must deal with. It's super useful, especially in the late game where many attacks will become downright unfair. One of the most common complaints is the very difficulty spikes in the game. Some bosses will be worth a piece of cake, while others will take a Herculean effort just to clear once. Now, it's worth noting that the photo games are not catered to beginners, but even with the best players, they don't really care about Violet Detector due to its insane difficulty, with the major prime suspect being the Nightmare Week stages. This week's gimmick focuses on dual bosses, which in Touhou hasn't had a good track history. In Mystic Square, Yuki and Mai appear together as the first pair where you can choose to defeat one over the other, adding to the story and gameplay. And aside from the Cheeto bullets, they're a fun fight. Many consider their battle to be the best duo fight, which means it's all downhill from here. In 10 Desires, Sega's battle involves a great amount of multitasking to deal with Yoshika. She makes Sega's boss more cumbersome than it needs to be, and even once you defeat the zombie, she just comes back a second later. At the very least, however, Yoshika is unique, as in Hidden Star in 4 Seasons, the worst part of that game makes itself very apparent in Satono and Mai. Their spell cards are kooky and messed up, involving a lot of bullet reading beforehand to dodge right. You need to prioritize which of the two to kill, as unlike Yuki and Mai, the two stick on the screen throughout their entire fight. At the very least though, when you kill one at the final spell card, they're both defeated.
Now imagine I tell you that these weenie dinguses somehow made it worse.
Many of Nightmare Week stages feature characters that will need to be killed one by one, though even dealing damage to them may be an issue. You see, most spell cards have a flow to them that makes them hard, but fun once you find the groove to solve them. You know, there's like an art to it. I'll take Wrong Saturday Stage 1 as the perfect example. At a glance, Okina shoots random bullets around, but then you realize that you have to spin yourself counterclockwise and aim your photo at her to deal damage. It felt fun and rewarding to beat it. On the contrary with Nightmare Wednesday Stage 5, it features Satori with the hearts and Ron with the orange Ofuda cards, each going on their own path. It's a prime example of forcing the player to multitask on their bullet reading skills, which for someone like me means I'm practically playing as if I'm driving drunk on the 805.
Dude, this car's ass!
It didn't feel rewarding because I honestly just used a respawn glitch. But for others, it felt frustrating due to the amount of stuff you need to pay attention to. What I'm basically saying is many of Nightmare Week stages is just unfun to play, especially considering that she is here. However, many of my issues can be attributed to a skill issue, something that you can overcome with experience. But there's one thing that even the best have problems with, and that's the nastiest smelling turd in a dumpster. The teleportation feature. It's a mechanic that was first introduced to the game with the first Wednesday fight. It seems like a cool tool to deal with many specific patterns, but has one major flaw. The awkward key placement makes the game experience harder than you think. Getting the timing and patience down takes time, but getting a sticky keys notification because of your panicking is just a giant L. There's really no reason for it to be the shift key, as the previous Touhou game's gimmick binded it to the C key, much more comfortable for your thumb to do the hard work than your poor little pinky. Control should feel like second nature, and even with a mod that changes the keys, teleportation is just janky as a whole. Shifting twice brings up 8 directions to travel to, and you use your arrow keys to go there. Fine in theory, but in execution, pretty poor. It's more likely that your teleport will lead to your demise 9 times out of 10. You need to be quick on your feet with teleporting, and considering that I sometimes use it as a panic teleport, and even accidentally kill myself with it, it makes you think. Did Zun really think this through?
Master?
Hindsight is 2020. Goob's plan in taking the boy with a frog wouldn't work out anyway. He didn't have a plan from the start because he was rushing his craft. Jerry made sure to take special care of Woody during his cleaning scene, as he knew that his craft of doll making would take a good amount of time. He got there when he got there. When we take a look at the Touhou release schedule, the picture becomes clear. Aside from a few sporadic moments, every year would feature a new game. While great for newer content, it becomes stressful when you're working under a deadline. Programming, drawing, creating new ideas, and not even considering the work-life balance. If you were in Zun's shoes, of course you want to take shortcuts to make life easier. A common criticism for Violet Detector is how many spell cards were reused from earlier games. It's a fair critique, but when factoring how reusing them can potentially cut the boss attack creation process in half, it's an elusive offer. I can only speculate on how crunched Zun was while making Violet Detector, but I would assume that he was working day and night, as he announced the game in July 2018, only about a month before release. Typically for the other games, they're announced nearly 5 months in advance. It's possible that deep testing was not done, which is likely why many of the game-breaking glitches were overlooked. It's a good idea to start your homework as early as possible, but other times, your teacher will give you a bogus deadline that just can't be met. But the case with Zun makes it more baffling as his deadlines are self-imposed. It's okay to take a break to refine your craft. I mean, heck, I'm proof of that. For the longest time, I stuck to a weekly schedule, but over summer 2023, I decided to abandon that process for a bi-weekly release to make more longer, more in-depth videos, and to give myself some breathing room. And in the end, I hope I succeeded in that. I don't understand why Zun is on his yearly grind mindset, but I do worry it will cause problems as he ages and cares for his family. Sooner or later, he will have to try to take some time for himself, or else something more broken than Violet Detector will become the norm. But who am I to speculate on a man that doesn't even know I exist? I don't know his situation, nor gave him the benefit of the doubt. So why don't we give Violet Detector a chance? Back in Toy Story 2, no matter how perfect Jerry made Woody, he eventually got the rip in his arm back. But Andy still loved him just the same. Who cares if you have a hole or two in the shirt? As long as it gives you enjoyment, then you can overlook that. Violet Detector still had the framework for a great game. It's pretty fun breaking the rules with the respawn glitch or fighting yourself in the final showdown. It ultimately led to 2 fan games that set out to fix its faults. Comatose Chaos is the more known of the two, as it's a sequel that has Sumireko in a coma returning to the dreamland, mixed in with some new quality of life fixes like fixing the teleportation key. Yay. The second is Violicious Dream Retrogenesis, which focuses on being an expansion to Violet Detector, maintaining the original game engine, but adding new characters like her. Sumireko's face on the title describes my emotion seeing Urumi appear, but it's still a fun side quest. All 3 are worth the try, but I say you should play Violet Detector first. You need to eat your vegetables before you can have dessert. Is Violet Detector really the worst Touhou game? You can maybe make the argument, but at the very least, you can laugh at the game's faults. As per the other worst game, it just made me sadder the further I play, but that's a story for another day. Holy crap, I am so freaking tired, but thankfully I have no reason to play this game ever again. So, in the meantime, I need to take a rest and prepare for finals, so, good night.